Okay, let's look at the verb ir, the verb to go. And I'm referencing estructura dos, estructura 2 in your textbook. It's in chapter 3 on page 98. The verb to go, ir, is highly irregular, so you have to memorize the conjugations. So let's quickly look at these. We start out with yo voy. So yo voy. Voy means I go. And when we express the verb to go, the conjugations of the verb to go in English, we can be a little more liberal with them. So voy can mean I go, I am going, or I do go. In English, we have these other ways. Outside of the simple present, I go, we have am going, the present perfect we use a lot, and or we use this do form of the present tense, I do go. So yo voy could mean I do go, I am going, which I would suggest is the more common way to express this form in English, or simply I go. Let's look at the to form. Tu vas, you go, you are going or you do go. Él va, ella va, he goes, she goes, or he is going, él va, he does go, él va. It's also the usted form. Usted va, you go. Usted va could also be you are going, and usted va could be you do go. Let's look at the plural forms. Nosotros vamos, we go. That's one way of saying it. We are going, and we do go. And finally, ellos, they. Ellos van. They go, they are going, or they do go. I would say, generally speaking, when you are translating the present tense conjugations of the verb ir into English, I would use the am going or is going or are going English expressions of the present tense more often than not. Here's a very important rule when we're working with the verb ir. This is going to be on your exams. It's very important. So we always follow any conjugation of the verb ir with the preposition a, to. Okay, you always have to follow it with a. And then you either would put in a place you're going to, a destination. And in chapter 3, we have about 15, 20 destinations, the park, the bank, the church that they've given you. Or we use the verb ir. If we don't use it with a destination, we use it with an action verb, some activity you're going to do. So I am going to study. I'm going to play basketball. I am going to eat. I am going to read. And in each case, you follow the verb to go, your conjugation with a, and then you would put in whatever verb action you're going to do. So and I tried to give you some examples here, but let's move on. So when you say you are planning to go to a place, a destination, and it's a masculine destination. So you would say, I am going, yo voy. Then you have to use a. I told you you always use a after any conjugation of ir. So yo voy a. So I'm going to, and then you put in the place. Now, let's say that you're going to the park. Well, parque is masculine. So you want to say, I'm going to, yo voy a. The park is el parque. So what happened there? You have a plus the definite article el, and you immediately form the contraction al. Okay, there's only two contractions in the Spanish language, de plus el, del, and this is the second one, a plus el, where el is the word the masculine the, and you get el. So when you use the verb ir, and you're going to have a destination you're going to, and the destination is masculine. For example, gimnasio, parque, restaurante. Then you're going to see the use of the word al creep in. Let's take a look. Ellos van. They are going to the restaurant. A el restaurante. Ellos van al restaurante. Very important rule. Now, say they were going to a destination that was feminine, like la clase or la piscina. There's no contraction. It only happens with a noun. So, ellos van a la clase. As I told you, you can use destinations to follow the verb ir. And again, you have to have that a in there, ir, a, wherever you're going. Or you can have another verb follow the verb to go, just like in English, to give you the sense of the future. So if you want to say, I am going to study, I am going to eat, okay? I am going to sleep. We do this all the time in English as well. So you conjugate the verb to go. You have to always follow with a, and then you add in, instead of a destination now, you add in your verb action, whether it's to sleep, to eat, to study. And notice to eat, to sleep, to study, you put in the infinitive form. So you always follow ir with a verb in its infinitive or unconjugated form. What do I mean by infinitive? It'll either be an AR, ER, and IR form. So let's take a look. I am going to eat. Voy a comer. I don't conjugate comer. I'm going to eat, just like in English. I have the verb ir conjugated. I follow it with an a, and then the infinitive comer. Now here we want to say she's going to go to the pool. Ella va. She's going. Now to go. So we have to follow it with a, ir. And then we always follow ir again with a. So we have actually two a's in the sentence because we've used ir twice. So ella va a ir a la piscina. She's going to go to the pool. Okay, let's take a look at how do we say let's do something when you want to include someone in a command? Very simple. You take the nosotros form of ir, the present tense conjugation, vamos, add on the a, you always have to follow ir with an a, and then you just put in the infinitive of whatever verb action you want to do. So let's eat would be vamos a comer. This could also mean we are going to eat, but if you say it it's the way you say it. If you say it with enthusiasm, you're kind of taking a leadership role and you're telling people, let's go and eat. Okay, so if you exhort people, as you state this, vamos a comer, you're saying, let's go to eat. So you just take vamos and a, and you add in a verb infinitive. Let's play basketball. Vamos a jugar al baloncesto. Let's take a stroll. Pasear means to take a stroll. Vamos a pasear. Okay. All right. Just remember, we learned various question words in Spanish. Que, what, cuando, when. Okay. And so, donde, where. Now, what if you want to ask somebody, where are you going? You don't use donde when you use the verb to go. You use a donde. In fact, you use a donde with verbs of direction and motion, like going. You could use it with running and walking. But our main verb that for us in Spanish 101 is it's going to be ir. So if you're going to ask a where question, where are you going? Where are you going? You're going to use a donde. So let's take a look. ¿A dónde vas por la tarde? Where are you going this afternoon or in the afternoon? All right, let's look at a few questions here then. Let's see how the rubber meets the road here, and let's try to use the verb ir. Let's conjugate it. Make sure we use the preposition a, and we use it correctly with destinations or lugares. We'll learn about 20 in chapter 3, and with other verb actions to express the future tense. Okay, we are going to the gym. So we are going would be what? Nosotros vamos, or just plain vamos. I don't need the nosotros. As I told you, particularly with yo and nosotros, we often don't need the subject pronoun because the verb conjugation is unique to that particular subject pronoun. So we are going would be vamos, and I always have to follow ir with a, always. So vamos a the gym. Gym is masculine, el gimnasio. So let's see what happens. Vamos al gimnasio. We get that a plus l. This will be on your test. Make sure you can make these contractions. Let's do number 2. I am going to eat. Now in this case, we have more of a future type of situation. We're using ir with another verb. Okay? So again, we have to follow ir, the conjugation with the preposition a. Let's try it. I am going. I am going is yo voy or simply voy. I have to follow that now with an a, and to eat. So all the verb actions that follow ir have always got to be left in the infinitive form, just like in English. I am going to eat, to run, to study. So voy a comer, and then en el restaurante or al restaurante. Let's look at 3. They are going. Let's skip 3. Um, uh, and let's do some simpler ones here. And let's look at number 4. So we'll go right on 4. I am going to win the game. How would you say that? All right, so the word to win, just to review a little bit, is ganar. And then game could be juego or partido. We did have some of this vocabulary in chapter 3. So I am going is voy, yo voy or voy a ganar. Okay, el partido. Let's go to the movies. Here's a let's go one. So we know that we use the nosotros form of the verb plus a, and then what other verb we want to use. So let's go to the movies. It would just be vamos a. Now, what is the word for, how would we say to go to the movies? It's a unique phrase. It's ir a el cine. El cine is the movie theater. So if you are saying vamos a el cine, you're going to get vamos al cine. You get a before el. Okay. Let's skip some of these. They get a little more involved in grammar. And let's do a few of these. Where do you go on Sunday? So if I'm asking where do you go, I mean you, the to form. And I always, if I ask a where question, now with ir, right, I have to use a donde, not donde. So a donde do you go? Vas. And then if you recall, how do we say on Sundays or on repetitively on any day of the week? We use the plural definite article los and then the day of the week. So where do you go on Sundays would be a donde vas los domingos. How would we say Mary goes to church on Sundays? Mary goes would be va. We got to always follow ir with a. Mary va a, what's the word for church? La iglesia. So Mary va a la iglesia los domingos. I like to go downtown. What's the word for downtown? It was hard. El centro, like the center, el centro. So I like to go downtown. Me gusta is I like. Ir ir al centro. Okay. We are going to visit our family. So we are going is nosotros vamos or vamos. I'm going to use it now with another verb. Visitar is to visit. So vamos a, right? We always have to follow ir with a. Vamos a visitar a nuestra familia. I don't want to get too involved in grammar here. Whom are you going to visit this weekend? Let's take a quick look at this. ¿A quién vas a visitar este fin de semana? Where are you going? Well, I'm sorry. What are you going to do tomorrow? So let's take a look at this. What are you going to do? What's the word for what? Que. Are you going would be vas, because we always think of the to form. You could use the usted form, but I generally use the to form. So que vas, What are you going to do? What's the verb to do? It's a major verb and it's one of our irregular yo verbs. It's hacer. So it would be que vas a hacer mañana. Okay, que vas a hacer mañana? What are you going to do tomorrow? And let me take a look at 14 just quickly with you. What are you going to do at the gym tonight? Again, we should understand how to say this. The reason I want to do this question for you, there is a slight grammatical error in it, and I wanted to see if you could catch it. And let's see how it was answered here. ¿Qué vas a hacer en el gimnasio hoy por la noche? Well, hoy por la noche means today at night or today in the evening, so tonight is fine. That's fine. The word for gym is el gimnasio. Que means what? Vas means are going. So what are you going to do? ¿Qué vas a hacer? Does that look right? No, there's a mistake here. Ir always needs to be followed when it's conjugated with what? The preposition a. So, ¿qué vas a hacer en el gimnasio hoy por la noche? So I just wanted to point that out to you. Well, thank you very much, and we've completed our study of the verb ir.